Welcome back to Marvel Maniac and MCU After Show. This is your host, Eric Cicada, aka Mr. Honest. Happy holidays. I hope the season is treating you right. Hope you're having a great time with family and friends. If that time hasn't come yet, I hope that's coming real soon for you. We have a new What If episode to talk about today, as we're covering the whole season day by day. This is episode 2. What if Agatha went to Hollywood? Now, I'm very surprised and pleased that this show is using Agatha and a character like Kingo and aspects from the MCU that have been really touched upon and use them to Agatha's advantage, which makes for such a unique story. You couldn't even come up with this, I swear. I don't know where this came from, but I love the whole premise of this episode. I love the ending, and who doesn't love a good cliffhanger, even though that will never be answered, the end of this episode. The Watcher is a troll, and I think he's taking us around to these modern stories. Like, Agatha's more of a modern, like, popular character in Marvel. I think that they were betting on the success of that show. I mean, if you watch the show and you worked over there at Disney, I would definitely consider the fact that this can become a huge hit because of how awesome it was. So, I don't know how I think I wouldn't imagine before the Agatha show for Agatha to have a What If episode. I really feel like it's important for us to have seen the show. If you're here just watching What If for the first time, I'd recommend the show Agatha all along. If you like this episode at all, we covered it episode by episode recently as it was coming out. So go listen to our after shows, watch the show, let me know what you think. MarvelManiacPod@gmail.com. This episode brings Agatha to a place I could never have imagined. Like, this episode goes like places pretty quickly, but it's not too much information to not understand. I mean, I don't know. If you didn't see the Eternals, it might be a little harder to understand completely, but there are like Venn diagrams, and like she explains what she's doing like a couple of times. She wants the power of the celestial that's from Eternals that's in the middle of the earth. She can sense it there. You find out later why. Well, I'll just tell you right now why. She killed all the Eternals and took all their powers. In the end, she does return their powers to them, but this crazy story has to happen, and Agatha is trying to like perform these rituals on set while they're filming, and they're using Howard Stark is the director, and I think he's hilarious. We get to see Jarvis the butler. They're both big characters in Agent Carter. If you watch that show, I love that show. I watched the first season of the second one, so maybe I didn't love, like, I'm on the books not loving it, but I like the first season of it, and I wasn't sure if we were going to get an all black and white episode. The beginning was black and white. And I'm going to say, like, right now, this is a classic example of me overtaking notes. But I'm going to, like, say out loud right now, the note taking actually just puts the story into my head a lot better. So, like, I don't like reading down a page, but I like looking down and being able to, like, see what part of the episode I'm talking about and, like, what's surrounding it. So, I don't know why I'm telling you this. That's why I include the Mr. Honest part. I am honest to a fault sometimes, but I just kind of like to let you in on the process. I don't want to like play games with you like Agatha's playing games with Kingo, you know? I ain't trying to use nobody like Agatha. Agatha always uses people for her own gain. And the end of this episode really, honestly, shows character development for her. It shows the possibility of her being a good person and not just an evil witch. She makes it seem like getting Kingo as a co-star on the movie is great for the movie, but little did we know she absorbed all the Eternals' powers, and he knows about it, and he knows a lot more about his existence than any of them did until like the end of that movie. Like, he knows he's a robot that doesn't age and lives forever. And now he's the one reporting to Arishem. And I'm sure the main job Arishem is going to give Kingo is probably to take down Agatha. and I think she beats him to the punch there because she uses him. They do a big song and dance. He actually is fighting her, and she's fighting him. It just looks like it's part of the movie to Howard and everyone else, and all the magic is flying everywhere. And every time that happens, Howard just thinks it's like them helping create the movie and using movie magic. It's kind of a really fun little side story. It happens and goes all the way through the end until it actually becomes a reality and they make the movie, which I think is really funny considering like the great powers at play here. I love the chemistry between Agatha and Kingo, and they're both side characters from franchises that are on different ends of the MCU. I really hope with time, seriously, that the fans grow more attached to the Eternals movie and see it kind of for what it is, the potential it could set up for future franchises, movies, expansion in the MCU. It was a great movie and it had a lot going on, and we were all just getting ready and amped up for Spider-Man No Way Home at that time. So I could see why it was hard for audiences to attach to like another superhero team, but the level at which they dig themselves into the story of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, we've seen nothing in this universe. There could be so much to uncover, and that's kind of what that movie proved. This universe has bigger stories. These characters could have fought Thanos, but they had to stay on the ground, on the side, and watch what happens. Personally, I think a little bit of fighting Thanos wouldn't have hurt their cause because they do have to protect the world in a sense. However, at the time, it just wasn't the move. But like I said, Kumail Nanjiani as Kingo returning is a surprise and a joy in this episode. And for me, as a fan of the Eternals, I really like this story. It really kicks some butt. And, all it does is taking a little bit of convincing. Right when Agatha and Kingo are meeting, like she says, there, he is there, she is. Like, they got similar mindsets. They have a lot of chemistry. I sense a little bit of a love story here. I'm not going to lie to you. I sense some real, like, vibes between these characters. I don't know how. I'd love to see that on screen somehow someday. More Eternals would mean so much more for the MCU. I'm telling you. Like, give Eternals another try. Like, just sit down and watch it with subtitles, sometimes audio description, because this is a big story in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and in my opinion, it was a fantastic movie that people overlooked. I understand some of the criticisms, but like this movie did nothing but set up an original story in a universe embedded with original stories, and it fit. And I like that a lot. So I beg you to give Eternals another try. If it's not your cup of tea, that's okay. I think Marvel's stepping away from it a bit, but at the same time, if they're making this episode, I think they're testing the waters a little bit down the line to see what do people think of the Eternals. Do they remember? I mean, we're going to be dealing with this Celestial in Captain America Brave New World. So I think they're trying to, in this episode, kind of like ready us for some follow-up on that in the movies. And anything can happen. I mean, let's be real. Agatha takes Kingo's powers. She uses him. She becomes just powerful enough with all the powers of all the Eternals to send her magic down to the center core of the earth and take the power of that Celestial that's going to be bursting out of there and destroying the whole earth. She takes its power, and you're like, what's going to happen to Agatha? Agatha grows into a giant omniscient Celestial. She is like Mega Agatha, Super Agatha, Giant Agatha. She's as big as Arishem, and she becomes this just as soon as Arishem shows up. And he says something like, oh, it must feel good for a mortal to wield such power. And she is so Agatha about it. She socks him in the face. She kicks his ass. And she literally binds him up in magic and destroys him. He is threatening in this episode. Like, we get to see his size. We get to see his loud, bold voice. He's kind of looming over the Eternals movie. We're scared of him because when we see him, he's huge. But Agatha kind of like knocks that out of the park because she's just as big. It's kind of crazy just to see that big old, like, what's going to happen with this guy? How are they going to defeat him down the line in the movies? And it kind of like brings it down to a ground level. Like, Agatha beat them. That's crazy. I hope that doesn't mean they're not going to come back and do this story that they had planned for the Eternals with Star Fox, brother of Thanos. God, brother, I want to know more about the brother of Thanos. I want to know more about Thanos. So let's just hope. Well, personally, I think I'm on the other side of this. So I think a lot of you listening might not be in the same boat as me, to be honest. But I'm not going to beg you or convince you to like love something you just didn't like for your own reasons. That's completely fine. Like, I'm just trying to maybe open it. I'm like Agatha. Like, my ulterior motive is to get you to watch Eternals under any circumstance. And I'll take all your powers. I like that we get to see the Eternals ship show up just to literally fly them across Hollywood to the Griffith Observatory, where our final set takes place. It is a real place that I visited. I was living in LA for a very short time a while back, and it's a beautiful place. You can see all of the city, and it looks so tiny from all the way up there. And I kind of found it a little special because I got a little nostalgic seeing that, and the fact that they fought over there was really cool. So, like, I can't underestimate you've seen it, like, I can't underestimate how strong Agatha actually is. It's insane. She becomes literally a celestial. And in the end, Kingo, they were on the same level. And it blows my mind that Kingo was able to actually talk sense into Agatha to giving back the power she took. And you know what that makes her? A freaking hero. She saved the world from sure destruction. Who knows what would have happened in this timeline? And I mean, the events of the Eternals, I don't know if they would have happened. Because if you remember Eternals, they were all kind of split up and they had to kind of reassemble the first half of the movie. Something people weren't crazy about. I like a slow burn sometimes if it leads to a big ending. And Tiamat is the biggest threat I'd ever seen in the MCU. Could not fathom how to beat him. Watching Agatha literally destroy him and shock him was really cool. And then afterwards, Kingo talking Agatha down, saying that you don't need this magic. You're a perfect actress, and you make magic just with the movies. You can tell stories with the movies, and that's something that seems to be both of them are like kind of in love with, at least in this universe. We know Kingo's a star in the Eternals. He's been like playing his grandfather's son for like hundreds of years, so that's really funny. And just seeing Agatha hold the knowledge of the Eternals and then being able to use some of their powers, beyond cool. I mean, beyond cool. I didn't know that she took their powers like that. She can take anything's powers. She even takes Tiamat's power. She loves power. So for Kingo to talk her down and them to actually put out the movie that they filmed, because Howard Stark this whole time, even fighting Arishem, thought that they just had some great special effects happening and he was filming the movie of a lifetime, and they very well have. Kingo warns Agatha at the movie premiere that since she killed Arishem, they'll probably catch the attention of other Celestials. He's not just one, he's many. They're from far deep in the outer space of the MCU. Still little known about them. And it is, for the most part, a very happy ending. And The Watcher reminds us, who doesn't love happy endings? And then we see more Celestials kind of appearing in the darkness of the night. And he says, who doesn't love a good cliffhanger? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Keep this show running. Bring us back to this, like a Captain Carter type, like, universe where we could see the sequel. I want more Eternals, Celestials. I want to learn more about like that cosmic side of the MCU, which I do think they'll be able to do easier after the multiverse saga, because we're doing the multiverse, so it's like all centered around Earth's different universes. But in the maybe mutant saga, the cosmic end, we'll be exploring the vast universe that we don't even know anything about yet. There's so much out there just in one singular universe that there's going to be so much more stories grounded on Earth, which probably would be a little bit easier for your average viewer to follow. But yeah, that's it for our episode. I hope I didn't skip anything important to you. If you had any moments that I missed, email me at MarvelManiacPod@gmail.com. I'll be sure to bring it onto the podcast and let you guys know. And I appreciate you listening to this. I know these episodes are shorter than I usually do, but in a way, I feel like it's kind of what we all need for the holidays. Just a quick, fun, hype up reaction. And that's what this was. I had a lot of fun talking about it. I hope you enjoyed your stay. I'm not looking ahead to see which episodes are coming. I've seen a list, but I don't remember all of them. And I'm going to just let myself be pleasantly surprised when I wake up every day to new awesome What If episodes. We still got 6 episodes, so there's a lot to go, and I will be here for it. This is Eric Cicada, aka Mr. Honest, your host, signing off for the day. Remember, leave us a positive review or a thumbs up or a 5 stars on whatever service you're listening to us on. It goes a long way. It means the world. The tip jar is in the About section. Never necessary, always appreciated. It means the world that you'd spend your time with me during this holiday to listen to and watch some of our greatest Marvel heroes appear in this show for one last time. If you're not feeling that way about What If, I understand. And our coverage of Moon Knight will resume a week from Wednesday, because we're going to be doing this all week, and I don't think I'll have the time to give Moon Knight that episode the full attention it needs. So this is a lot of fun. I hope you had fun. No longer prolonging this goodbye. Until tomorrow, Avengers, disassemble.